Good morning and welcome back to Coffee Break. This week on Erdlings, it's Sneak Peek Week, so we thought we would give some sneak peeks too.
Imagine that!
So this is going to be like rapid fire look at our Fall 15 list, stuff to get excited for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you have to wait a few months, but
it's worth it,
it
right?
Is worth it.
Yeah, once you see these things, you'll be like marking it on your calendars for sure.
Yeah. So, do you want to start or you want me to start?
Well, I want to drink my coffee, so why don't you start?
Okay. All right.
It's been a long morning, guys.
So this is one of our books this is from Israel, correct?
It is. That's Hebrew.
So this is the foreign edition, so we, because it's not out yet, we're still working on our English edition. So this is Just Like I Wanted, and it's about this adorable little girl who is drawing a picture and then like makes a mistake, and instead of getting frustrated, she turns it into something else, and it's awesome. So at one point, she's like flying this airplane that used to be a piano, and it's just really fun.
And I love the mixed media illustrations in this. So like, you've got her, imagining this girl playing the piano and everything, and then I have to turn it backwards because, but then you see like what it actually looks like, and you see where she made the mistake, and then how she turns it into something new, so it becomes a horse. And yeah, I love that. I love the idea of like there are no mistakes, just other avenues.
This is totally my kind of art because I'm not a good enough artist to like actually draw what I am picturing. So then I love how she's just like, well, that's okay. It's this now, and that's even cooler.
Yeah, exactly. So. I'll make this work. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, this one. This is from French, and it translates into "I am a bear," and I actually cried the first time I read this, and I was just like looking at the artwork really. But yeah, it's about this this bear who's living in the city and he's homeless, and like it kind of describes like the tough times he's going through, and then it's just great. Like it really helps to raise awareness, but it's still accessible. Like you've just got this cute little bear sleeping on the street and like looking into shop windows because he's hungry. So it's a great way to kind of raise consciousness in an accessible way for kids.
This is Little Big.
I love this one.
It's about siblings. So a big brother and a little brother, and it's from the perspective of the little brother and how he's disappointed, how like he wants to be big so he can do these things, but then he's like, but if I was big, I wouldn't be able to do this thing. And I feel like it's just really good for younger siblings.
Yeah, I think it helps to highlight the different strengths there, like there are things that little siblings can do that older siblings can't do, and vice versa.
And then I love like how his imagination just enters the real world. So,
like if I was as big as an alligator,
And then you can just see the alligator like in his world.
Yeah.
It's just really fun.
It's really imaginative artwork. Yeah. This one I think is from Belgium, and it translates into The Dog That Nino Didn't Have. And it's about this boy, Nino, who has an imaginary dog as a pet. You can kind of see it there, how he's in color, but the dog isn't. And I just love this artwork. It's so nostalgic and beautiful.
I was gonna say, this is another like new book that feels nostalgic because of the art.
Yeah, and I love the story too because like eventually, spoiler alert, eventually like he gets a real dog and it's not anything like he imagined a dog would be. And so I like that that it highlights that disconnect between like expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it okay that it's different?
Right, exactly. Like learning to, be happy with what you have rather than like this perfect image that you have in your head.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can
Deep
imagine
thoughts for kids.
Yeah. Another one is Animal Beauty. This is a translation from Norwegian. I love that this is like so bright and colorful, and I can imagine so many little girls just grabbing onto this. And so the story is like all these zoo animals pass around this fashion magazine, and so they, just like us, think, oh, wrinkles are bad, I need to get rid of my wrinkles. And so they all keep passing around and like end up in these ridiculous situations.
Yeah, like the panda finds out that you're not supposed to have dark circles under your eyes, So he's like trying to get rid of them and
So
everything.
he gets rid of all of his dark circles.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that, it talks about body issues and everything, but again, in an accessible way.
Yeah.
One that doesn't feel too didactic. Like, it's funny. You're
Yeah.
seeing all these animals being, like, ridiculous and everything.
Oh yeah, I think my favorite one is the lion.
How he turns into James Dean because he needs a haircut. It's like, do you have an out-of-control Dean? Get a haircut.
Yeah.
It's great. This is another translation from Norway. It's I'm Right Here. And this is a really great intergenerational story. It's about a boy who, he's taking a walk with his grandma through the park, and he just asks her, what are you afraid of? And she'll say things like, oh, I'm, afraid that I'll never be able to hear the magpie song again. And he's like, no, but I'm talking like bees, fires,
Like
dogs.
serious stuff, Grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean you're going to, miss the flowers blooming someday? And so it just opens up a really great conversation about, death and dying, but it's not...
It's not depressing.
No, and it's not sad because it's like nothing happens. It's just kind of like a hypothetical question. So I think this is a really great way to generate some honest discussion and everything.
Yeah.
And it's really comforting too, I think.
I love the soft, gentle illustrations.
Yeah. Oh, they're so sweet.
beautiful.
Look at that little squirrel, little fuzzy squirrel. I know. That's it. It's just the text and the story itself is comforting, but the illustrations really help with that too.
Yeah. So the last one that I'm gonna show.
Oh, these are printer's proofs.
Yeah.
We don't-
So by the way, sneak peek. This is what printer's proofs look like.
Surprise!
So this is Brother Giovanni's Little Reward, and this story is about the origin of the pretzel.
Yeah.
Um,
I had no idea that there was a legend of the invention of the pretzel or anything like
Right,
that.
yeah.
So
the origin of one of the origin stories of the pretzel, because no one's exactly sure, is that this monk, Brother Giovanni, was trying to teach the little children their prayers, and so he was really good at baking and not so great at teaching, so he's like, I'll use baking to teach, and it worked.
right. So the shape of the pretzel is supposed to be arms folded in prayer, and then the three circles there I think are supposed to represent the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
And so this just kind of tells that story and gives it some more color and flavor. Yeah, and Amanda Hall actually did these illustrations. She
So,
did the Henry.
Fantastic Struggles of Henri Rousseau.
Oh, Henri, excuse me. I say Henry, an
Well.
American.
So you may be familiar with her art. So here's an example. This is one of the pages, Brother Giovanni laughing with the children.
Yeah. Well, and I like that on the opposite where you've got the text, you've got that kind of medieval looking picture in there too. So I
Yeah.
like that she, recalls that,
Yeah.
the illuminated manuscripts and all of those.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
And also, there is a recipe for pretzels,
Yes.
and we can attest to the fact that it is delicious.
I
So-
love that we have a job that's oh, we have to bake pretzels to make sure this recipe that we're putting in this book works. Oh no, I guess we'll have
Oh,
to
shucks.
eat all these pretzels and make sure they're okay.
And guess what? We're gonna share the recipe with you, so we're definitely gonna do our own cooking show sometime this fall.
Yes. When this book gets closer to its pub date, we'll be filming on location, probably in Anna's kitchen because mine's very small.
So yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah. So the last book we're going to present from our fall list is Fur, Fins, and Feathers, and this is a picture book biography on Abraham D. Bartlett. You thought I was going to say Lincoln, but it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Who I didn't know about, but now I love.
Yeah, he was one of the founding fathers of the modern zoo. So he made tons of innovations at the London Zoo in around the 1800s, so Victorian Regency time. And it's really fascinating to learn about, and I love these illustrations.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So Abraham D. Bartlett, he put the signs on the zoo cages and everything
Yeah, isn't that
to
weird to
educate
think that
people.
They used to have zoos that didn't even label what the animals were.
Well, yeah, and the cages were really small. They didn't have proper diets, and so he studied these animals. He found out what they should be eating and how much. He gave them natural habitat so that they could feel like they were at home. He did all of this really great environmental stuff. And look at these illustrations. I know he takes a little baby red panda home because it's sick, and he's just whatever, I'll feed you. Don't worry about it.
And I love that. So there's depth, like literal depth in these illustrations.
Yeah.
Because it's like paper cutout.
Right, like, I'm trying to see here. Yeah, like all of the shadows that you see in the artwork are
The
literal
real
shadows.
shadows,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's three-dimensional artwork.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kudos to the photographer for very patiently going through all of
Yeah.
this and everything.
Also, I know we can't really share this with you, but it was so cool to see this original art.
I mean, seeing the original art is one of the best things about working with picture
Yeah.
books anyway. But yeah, this three-dimensional art, you're like, can I touch it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, this book was a lot of fun to work on, and I think it's going to be a really good book when it comes out.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to our rapid fire fall 15 list. We hope that you are just as excited as we are for all of these books.
Yes. And if you have other books that you know of that are coming out this fall that you're excited about, share them with us. We always like to find out, what other people are reading and looking forward to.
So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
About this little boy, Nino, who had